Okay, so there were six of us who started Glovo. We were totally strangers. We didn't know each other. And personally, I heard about Athens Startup Week in University through on Facebook. One of my friends posted that there was something going on during the weekend. It was an entrepreneurs contest for university students. So I thought I could participate too. And this is where I met the other guys. Costapanos pitched the idea about creating a volunteers platform. I joined because I knew him from university, and we created Glovo. Since then, even though I studied business administration, I didn't know many things about startups and the whole ecosystem. So it was something new to me participating in such an event. During the contest, we had to actually create a business model for our idea and present it during the last day. The difficult thing was that, first of all, we didn't know each other, and it was the first time we cooperated in something. And also, only two of us knew about business and business plans and all that stuff. Also, we only had 52 hours to shape the whole idea. In the end, we made it. We continued after the contest. There was another step called Startup Next. So it was the next phase, how to start actually implementing our idea. The lucky part was that we didn't need much money in order to start, because we didn't have a lot of costs and expenses. So we used our own money, and we used a lot of help from mentors from Athens Startup Week University. Stavros, who owns the place here, was one of our first mentors, and they helped us a lot in doing the first steps. So the initial idea was to create a platform that would connect volunteers to events and actions, mostly events. However, when the time passed, we saw that and as the platform grew bigger and more volunteers came to us, we realized that they were mostly interested in actually participating in volunteer actions, more social. So we decided a few months ago to change the legal entity of Glovo, turn it to a non-profit organization, and we started supporting and organizing social volunteer actions and projects. Now we are starting to cooperate with other organizations in order to organize long-term projects, volunteer projects. And one of our new initiatives is Glovo for All, which is actually a project aiming at helping people with disabilities to also be able to participate in actions and volunteer projects, events, stuff like that. So we began as a pure startup, and as the time went by, we decided to focus more on the social part of our idea.
We're gonna have to look sad.
Of course, there were difficulties through these 2 years since we started, but I don't remember a moment where we said that okay, we will give up, because it was it was an idea that was very positive. It had a very positive impact on the community, and even though there were a lot of difficulties, and eventually some of the team members decided to leave the team, we always believed that it was something that we created which was very good, and it had a lot of value. So we just had to find ways to solve problems and create a sustainable plan so that even when we won't be able to participate and contribute in the way that we do now, this will go on and grow bigger.
Once an event organizer approaches us to support their event, the procedure is very simple. There are no basic or specific criteria, but our concern is that there's an added value for every volunteer who would come in order not only to offer some of his time, but also to gain experience and some skills. In order to decide to support an event, we have to have a specific time before us, at least 3 weeks, because we have to organize the newsletters and the captains that are going to coordinate the volunteers, and of course to connect with volunteers and choose them because of the best criteria and interests of them. There is no specific group of volunteers that follow us or support us in every event that we support. We have volunteers from the very first event that we had. I'm one of them, and that they still come because they enjoy the concept and what they're going to gain from the specific event. In general, we have, when they register, they have to choose between some interests of theirs in order to the specific newsletter reach them. So they have to choose between entrepreneurship, music festivals, or seminars, or NGOs actions. And then they receive a mail and they have to apply for it. So there are no specific volunteers, but only specific volunteers with specific interests that participate in each and every event.
In the beginning, when Glovo was not so big as it is right now, it was kind of difficult to create partnerships and find events to support. But while we grew bigger and bigger, lots of event organizers heard about us and tried to contact us and ask us to support their events. As the years went by and as Glovo was growing, it was more and more easy to just contact an event organizer and tell him that, okay, we want to support your event, are you in? Yes, I'm in. And right now we mostly do this, we mostly do the first step when it's about very exciting events and very big events that we would definitely want to support. But in most of the times event organizers come to us right now. Apart from events, we also organize and support volunteer projects, and we collaborate with other organizations such as We Cook for Good in Athena or the Emphasis Foundation, and we do things together, we create synergies, and we try to create positive impact through collaboration with them. The reason why Glovo was created was a bad volunteer experience that Konstantinos had. When we started to shape the idea, we thought that volunteerism was, especially in Greece, was a kind of controversial thing. Because a lot of people thought that volunteering is about doing very difficult stuff, difficult projects, and getting tired, working all day long without food and water. But we wanted to give volunteerism another meaning and change the perception, change its perception especially by young people in Greece. So we focused on creating great volunteer experiences for our volunteers, and we really wanted to give them back certain benefits. So we now know that people who participate as volunteers in our projects, they develop skills, they develop, they gain new knowledge, they have great experiences, they experience the backstage moments of every event or action they participate, and they create a positive impact. So we know that it's a very good experience. The difference that we have with other volunteer organizations is that in Glovo we mostly do micro volunteering projects, which means that we organize projects that will last for 2 or 3 days, or we support projects that last 2 or 3 days. And each volunteer is free to participate in any event or action he wants. The participation is not mandatory. And in the end, I believe that what makes us different is that we focus very much on what we will give back to volunteers, how we will develop them, how we will give them leadership experience. And this is, of course, why we also created the Captain's Project. I believe that the value of volunteerism is not only about solving problems that the state or other organizations or the government cannot solve, but it's about collaboration, it's about working together, it's about teamwork, passion and creativity.
I learned about Glovo in a session that I had in your department in Pantheon, and I actually joined them just to attend to an event in Belgium. Well, we never did go to that event actually, but
not yet.
Not yet, but it didn't matter to me anyway. I thought that volunteering was only to cook for poor people or to gather some books or medicines. It's not that, it's not only that. Through Glovo, I learned some basic principles that a person should have, and the top one is giving or offering. I offer some of your time, offer some of your help, offer some of your ideas, and this is why we should have more volunteering organizations in Greece, because we were never taught to give or to offer without waiting something in exchange. So volunteering for me is all the above. And much more, because you can meet people that you would never meet otherwise, or you can make friendship like I have here, and I suggest it to everyone.